What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Kids at Work podcast. My name is Matt Corman. I'm here with Travis Tangway.
You know what it is.
Yeah, back again. So today is July. No, it's not. August 10th. Me and Travis are both back from some weekends where we got fucked up, drinking alcohol and shit.
Tough one.
Yeah, so felt like we were, back in like a year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I say, before coronavirus. Felt like a pre-COVID type of event, you know?
I mean, yeah, you had a wedding, right?
Yeah.
How was that? Was it good?
Yeah, my buddy got it was good. It was good to have some real
abiding
beers.
by the COVID rules.
Yeah. It was actually weird. The DJ was like, he was playing some songs and he was like, all right, everybody, feel free to dance, like spaced out. And he was like, feel free to do this. I got a safe distance. And then, I was also around like the people that like I was with were like there wasn't a lot of people and everybody there was pretty much family members. It was a really close-knit wedding. So
That's good. Where'd they have it?
In Plymouth. In Bourne. At the
Was it at like
Sagamore.
a venue? Like our venues doing that? Or?
Yeah, it was like in the yard, like right outside in like a little yard. They had a tent set up. It was pretty cool though.
How many people was there like a limit on how many people they allowed?
So this week you're not allowed to have more than 50 people at an event, but It was 72 was the total. And then after that
Bunch of fucking rule breakers, huh?
Listen, guys, yeah.
Nasty.
We definitely did break the rules. There was we tried to socially distance as best as we could, but then there was like this little pool party after. I'm not saying it was the best of ideas.
Yeah.
But listen, we did it.
Pool party.
And it's what happened.
So you got after. You were drinking, huh? You said you were hungover yesterday?
Got wicked fucked up.
That's crazy. I don't see you do that much often anymore.
No, that was like first time since 2008.
Back with the homeboys. That's always a good time to get after it, you know? And no, seriously, it is. It's good to. Last time I had like all the boys from home together, we got super fucked up too. So
yeah, it's fun.
That's sick. I drink alcohol.
Yeah, it's crazy to see like your buddy get married like after, because I went to high school with Zach.
Yeah,
and I don't know. You just think about like the shit like.
And you're just not even close to marriage.
Like it's just like holy shit like marriage, dude. I remember my buddy Dave, like his girlfriend, like we were sitting there watching, and then she turns to me, she goes, "That's forever." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fucking crazy."
Well, depending.
That's crazy. Yeah, well, depending on 51% of the American families.
I have seen plenty of marriages that have not been forever, but.
Yeah,
it's good. I'm glad you had a good weekend.
How about you? You were
we went down. Yeah, we went down to. I went home, golfed with Pops on Friday night.
How was the
couple
course?
of boys from home. Course is actually really nice.
You hit him good?
Yeah, I played pretty fucking well actually. Some dude was it was actually hilarious. Some dude was being a dick on the golf course, which
your
everyone
dad was
knows
scrap
golf.
him?
Not scrap him. No, I don't want to throw him under the bus like that. But Pops, he's not afraid of not afraid of an altercation like that.
Sure.
And these guys in front of us were golfing wicked fucking slow the whole time, and like we were being patient because it was twilight, so like it's kind of like you pay a discounted rate and you golf as many holes as you can. So like there's no rush, but it's also like you're not playing like you're on the fucking PGA Tour.
Sure.
Because it's not like you have limited time to get X amount of holes in. So it's like let's try and play as many as we can. So like don't sit there for 3 minutes, line your putt up. But we weren't giving them shit. Like we weren't hitting into them. Like we were waiting on the tee box a lot of times. So it gets to the ninth hole, and we're like, all right, we're finishing up the ninth hole, and we're about to take the turn, and we're like, all right, let's not stop for beers or anything. Like, let's just get to the next hole, because hopefully they're
stopping for beers.
Hopefully they're stopping for beers. But we didn't, dude, they finished up the ninth hole, and we didn't even see them. Like, we thought they went to their car, so we were like, oh, fuck, they're not even playing 10. Yeah. Like, let's get going.
Perfect.
So, of course, classic Tangway luck, we finish up 9, and we start driving over to 10.
Yeah.
And they come out of the clubhouse, and now buddy, fastest I've seen him move all day, is jogging over to the thing to beat us to like the 10th hole or whatever. And
so he was gonna skip hole. No,
they played hole 9 and they finished up. And like, dude, it's crazy. They were so slow. Like we were waiting for them. Like we teed off like once they were far enough away, and then we had to wait for like 5-6 minutes to take our second shot because we were trying to go for the green, and they're like chip, like they just weren't good, which is fine. It's whatever. Like we didn't fucking complain about it or say anything to them, and we didn't hit into them. We kept our distance, and we just thought like they weren't playing 18, so that we didn't think they were going to go to 10. But as soon as we come out of 10, we don't, once we're on 9 putting and finishing up, we don't see them. But as soon as we drive towards the next hole, of course they come out of the clubhouse.
Sure.
And my dad's cart was like kind of already towards like his cart was really close to the green, so he headed to 10, and then me, Kim, and Zach were heading there as well. And the guy starts, but we were behind my dad, so he was just like teeing off, like he was getting ready to go, and the guy's like, excuse me, and like my dad was like in the process of hitting.
I mean, like,
and like
really,
he's like, excuse me, he's like, and then he starts copping an attitude. He's like, you didn't want to ask. And fucking
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
dude.
like I just turned my back because I knew like I didn't know who was gonna say something, and Zach was kind of looking right at him, and he's like, "Oh, we didn't know you were making the turn, or whatever." Which we were just trying to beat him, but it's kind of like, man, like you took that time to stop and like and get beers.
Yeah.
And like we were quicker than you. Like we just got off, and like honestly, us teeing off, like we weren't gonna hold them up. You know what I'm saying? Like the pace they were playing at all day, we weren't gonna hold them up one bit. So then we were like, oh, we didn't see you or whatever. And my dad finishes up teeing off, and he's walking back towards his cart, and the guy's like, yeah, that's all right. You guys are better than us anyway. Like kind of just like 60-year-old dude with like a fucking attitude on him. And my dad thought he said something completely different. My dad said like, that's all right. You were up our ass the whole time anyway. Like he thought he said something douchey anyway. So my pops just walks right next to him. He's right next to my dad's car, and he puts his club away. My dad just stares at him and looks at me and goes, don't be a fucking dick. That's what he says. Like, and the guy is like my dad wasn't like gonna scrap him or anything, but he just doesn't give a shit, and he just goes, don't be a fucking dick. And the guy's like, whoa, I'm not. I'm sorry. My dad's like, dude, you came over here with an attitude. And we got right in our faces, and we were yelling as we were teeing off. He's like, we did not know you were making the turn. We tried to get out ahead of you. Do you want to go? He's like, no. You guys, we were probably holding you up anyway. Like, completely changed his fucking... Yeah. Like, I don't know. He probably thought he saw a bunch of kids, like, teeing off or whatever. And he's, like, coming over here as the old guy. But it was just hilarious because it's a gentleman's game. But Pop's, like... He wasn't getting in the guy's face or anything, but he was just telling the guy to fucking politely piss off.
Pop's got to teach him a lesson, man.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Gotta respect that.
Yeah, golfed and then slept at home. I got to hang out with Olive, which was dope. And then went to hang out by a pool Saturday.
Yeah, that's right. And then you like experienced...
I don't know what happened to me. I think I drank bad alcohol.
Yeah, well, what did you... Turn your mic a little.
Oh, this way.
Oh,
perfect.
Other way. This part's sticking out.
I do that every episode. Sorry,
what did you? Because I got a serious hangover yesterday, but I don't think as bad as you. But like, it's because I mixed a bunch of different things. Like, what did you drink?
I was drinking Claws and then espresso martinis. But we're just like making espresso martinis.
But that's it though. I think it's the espresso martinis.
Then we were honestly kind of drinking we were playing like not a drinking game, like we were reasonably drinking, and that's why I was so confused, like how fucked up I got, because like I was like I wasn't even like getting after it. Like I drank way more in college, and that was what confused me too, because I was like, dude, I drank way harder on the 4th of July and didn't even get close to getting sick, but it was just like 11:30 rolled around, and it was like bang.
Bro, some days are just
you're
different,
sick,
though.
And I was like, what the fuck?
I think some days you can consume alcohol differently. Also, depends on like what you eat and shit. I think.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if you're eating.
Yeah, I also like, not to throw her under the bus, but Breads was on the grill, and she cooked burgers, and like halfway through the burger,
oh no!
I literally looked at Chase.
Maybe it was a little food poisoning.
That's so honest to God. That's what I was thinking, because I was very puzzled. I was like, I didn't drink that much, and
were you blackout drunk though?
No.
Like, were you hammered?
No.
Throwing up?
No.
So then it could have been food.
Like I drink responsibly.
Yeah.
But
well, of course.
No, yeah, it could have been the food. I don't know what it was, but I was just sick for like it wasn't like a quick like throw up and then like all right, back to action. Like I was like, I was sick. Like it was like kind of violently thrown up for a little bit. So that's why I thought it might have been the food. Because the burger definitely could have still been mooing for sure.
Well, so had a lot of rat to it.
Might as well just taking a slice off the cow and throwing it between a burger. I haven't thrown it between buns, but no, it was good. So yeah, yesterday was tough for me because that's the first time like I've like thrown up. Well, you know me, I hate throwing up. I don't know if we addressed that on this podcast before, but that's like just my whole life been like something I'm like, it gives me like extreme anxiety for some reason.
Did you? I think I told you when I was younger, I was scared. I was like terrified of throwing up too. But like,
I wouldn't say like. It's weird. I wouldn't say terrified. Like I wouldn't say it's like a fucking fear. Like people are like scared of heights. But like when throwing up becomes like something that it's like, oh, I don't feel good, I could throw up right now, or like you feel nauseous. And we were talking about yesterday, you get that feeling when like the warm fuzzies come over you and like in your body, like that feeling that makes you be like, okay, time to walk to the bathroom right now. You know, like once that feeling comes, or like I know throwing up is a possibility, then it becomes a fear. Like it's not like something, well, I don't know, you saw me when we like lived together in G21 when Blanche got sick. He got the stomach bug.
Yeah, dude, it's just because it was one of your anxiety. It's like triggering your anxiety.
Yeah, it triggers a lot of anxiety, because I wouldn't say it's something
I'm
I'm very scared of, but it was almost like, yeah, like when Blanche had the stomach bug and we lived in that fucking 6-person tiny fucking apartment.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, there's no way I'm not getting this, you know? So the whole 3-4 days of him being sick, I almost was making myself sick, like being like, well, I'm gonna get it soon, like I'm gonna throw up soon, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just always been something that, like, I don't know, since I literally since I can remember my first time throwing up, like it's
crazy.
Yeah, brutal.
That's a thing though. I mean, I had that. I think I got over it because I decided that it's crazy because once you start throwing up, you feel better though. And like we said yesterday, it's like when you're initially, it's not even the act of puking, it's thinking about throwing up that fucks you up, and like the dry heaving thing, like you can't get it out. It's like, but like when you do it and you walk away and you feel 10 times better, it's like, fuck, I wish I did that an hour ago.
Yeah, you know? I don't know what causes me to.
It's like jumping in the water. It's like, yo, I'm glad that I'm swimming right now. But like before you get in the water, you're like, I don't know, it's like a little bit cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a good analogy for sure. It's a nice shirt you got on there.
Yes, this is
Did we plan that today?
Yeah, no, we actually did. Shout out to Enlightened Rebel Co.
Enlightened Company. We shouted them out last episode.
Yeah,
cool little locally made clothing company.
Comfy as hell. I like this. I think they get it from.
I think I kind of messed up their name last time I shouted them out, so terrible memory on me. So I'm gonna you can find them on Instagram at Enlightened Rebel Co. And they are a clothing brand established on the first day of summer 2020, all about travel, good times, best friends, and retro vibes. Pretty simple shirts. I like them a lot. Definitely going to start wearing them to the gym and whatnot. But I like the look of them. I like the black one. I'm jealous I gave you that one.
Swag. No, yeah, I like the black one too. It's looking swaggy. Nice little clean logo up front, and also fits really nice. It's a nice little, Are you an XL too?
Yeah.
You got an XL one? Yeah.
It's got a good fit on it.
Perfect.
It's comfy. It's light too, so like I can see myself doing shit outside with it as well.
Love it.
So yeah, if you like to support local business or you like just cool casual wear, go check them out on Instagram. Like I said, enlightenedrebelco.com. Link in bio.
Link in bio. Yeah. Shout out to them, and also. I actually just reposted something on my Instagram when Future, I think it was Future, he got out of a car and he was like wearing Gucci. No, he had a bunch of a Gucci bag in his car. I think it was Future. And then he was like support. And then he was also wearing his friend's brand. Like he wore his friend's hat who like isn't popping. And they were like, oh, like Future, what's that? Like, what's that? And he was like, support your friends just as much as you support the Gucci's. You don't go in a Gucci store and ask them for a discount. So don't go to your friend's business and ask him for $5 off his t-shirt just because you know him.
Yeah, facts.
You should support him 10 times harder.
Exactly.
Yeah, so make sure, especially in a time like this, where like people are now getting laid off from jobs, and they're also people are searching so hard to create things for themselves, like businesses and whatnot. And so if your buddy's out there and he started a t-shirt business, or your buddy started a fitness like releasing a workout program, anything, like now is the time more than ever to be supporting your friends as entrepreneurs.
110%.
10 times more than you're supporting the companies.
Like Colton said he was going to send us one, and I Venmo'd him anyway, because it's like you're trying to
start for sure. Same thing with Nico, fucking
exactly,
the barber.
Nico, the barber. Like, don't expect. That's another thing we've talked about a lot. Is like when you go through life, like there's perks in life. Like obviously, like you go visit me at the bar and whatnot, or we go visit Kamara at the bar. Like that's an amenity of like having a friend that's a bartender.
Yeah.
But we talked about never be the guy that shows up and expects.
Yeah.
To like not get a check. You know, if you have a friend that's a bartender, or you got a friend that's a barber, you know, you got to hook up through Alex. Yep. His best friend is a barber. You know, don't go there expecting a discounted haircut. Yeah. Just go to him because it's a good barber that you like and you support. You know what I'm saying? Like, I end up tipping Nico pretty much the cost of a haircut. Like, I pay him more. Like, I like to support like friends and whatnot. Like, I want to buy shirts from Colton because you know it's helping. Like, it's helping the cause. I would want that support too.
Absolutely.
If I was starting a brand of my own or something like that too. You know.
And it's hard, man. Like when you start out, if you're listening to this, you've never started anything like a business or anything like that, or it's super fucking hard trying to the first thing you want to do. Think about anything you try in life. Like you start lifting weights, you want your friend to say, "Hey, man, you look good." Like good for you. Like you get support directly from your friend. So if you're starting a t-shirt company or something new, and you're a friend of that person and you're not supporting them off rip, like I guarantee they're not getting support from anywhere else. So you need to come through for them. That's a part of being a good friend. So yeah, I mean I completely agree to that point. Same thing with music too. Also, if your friends are doing music, support that shit too.
It's like, so funny too, man. Like we actually chatted about it a little bit too. He's like, I appreciate the support, and like it's not like I'm looking for the support, but it almost like makes me happy that I am, because I would anyway, but not because he appreciates it. Like I would do it anyway, but it's nice to get. But he was like, it's crazy the negative vibes when you're trying to go out and do something and like start something of your own or whatever, like how quick people are to like be negative about something, you know? And it's like hearing him say that, it just reminds me so much of like, you know, us trying to build your brand or whatnot, or do this podcast. Like people are so quick to be like, oh, you guys are on a podcast. Oh, you're starting a podcast. It's like, shut the fuck up and go do something more valuable with your time. You know?
I think people.
I mean, we talked about that a couple episodes ago. Like, people are so quick to spread hate and whatnot, and it just still baffles me. Like, I could talk about this till I'm blue in the face. Like, it's just like why are you so bored that you have to just like, you know?
They're just lost, man.
So that's, I guess we can talk about it. We've talked about it from that perspective, but we can talk about it from the other perspective of just like, if you are starting something of your own, like if you're passionate about it, just fucking do it. Like, it doesn't matter. I think a pro of starting something of your own, or, you know, trying to grow a brand, or like put yourself out there on social media or something like that. I think a pro of that is like, you see who's not really with you, or you see who's like not a true fucking friend. I think that's the beauty of starting something, or like putting, like I said, putting yourself out there, because it's like, you can thin the fucking herd. You know?
Absolutely, man.
Tighten that circle up.
I mean, I've seen it more than anything, like when like doing the music thing. Like, music's a funny one because, I mean, we've talked about it before, but it's like, it really, everybody knows somebody who's tried music. And so when you have that, I've said it on stage, I said it at the last show at Manchester, how thankful I am that you guys supported, like everyone that's in the building has supported me. And because at one point in your life, you had to throw on my song, and someone from your hometown or someone that you know had to be like, who the fuck is this? You're like, oh, like, you had to stick up for me at one point when I wasn't there. And I know that happens. And so like, the fact that people are at the concert, like, yeah, like, I fuck with you, like, I'm representing that this is my friend and I support what he's doing. Yeah. Like, I understand that goes a long way, because you have battles that come with that as well. Yeah. And so it's not easy to support the fucking, I don't know, the kid that's fucking, the kid that's trying to do shit. That's
doing him. Is doing his own thing.
It's exactly. Gonna be hard.
Because it's so funny, because getting out of the ordinary, you know, not being that cookie cutter, like 9 to 5, minding your own fucking business, and like, you know, posting once a month on social media, and like not putting yourself out there is such the norm that like, it's so easy to be part of the norm and just be like, what is this kid doing? Like, dude, good luck to him. That won't work. Yeah. Like, shut the fuck up.
Dude, at the wedding I was just at, I was having conversations with kids who I haven't had with a while, and I love these kids. And but like, I just remember, like, it's a common thing that comes up even when you see parents they haven't talked to in a while or anything. They're like, oh, like, how's everything going? I'm like, oh, you know, good. Like, you know, you tell them about what they're doing, whatever. They're like, all right, like, you know, as long it's always like an as long as, like, I'm doing something wrong. It's like, like, oh, like, you're doing something for yourself, like, you're not working for anyone else. Like, hey, like, as long as you're happy and it's doing well for you. But in my head, I'm like, you know that I'm better off than you.
It's almost like the backhanded compliment.
It is, because it's like you know that, like, I am better off.
Hey, you might not be making millions right now, but you're making enough to support yourself, and you're doing what you're passionate about. There's those who go through life, you know, they work that 9 to 5 in Boston, they work their way up in corporate, and they make 125, 150 a year. But like, is selling fucking data what they were like grew up wanting to do? Yeah. No, and like, absolutely fucking not. I mean, I'm sure there are some people that are like, oh boy, can't wait to grow up and be an accountant. Like, sick, good for you. That's awesome. That's your passion. But there's others that are just doing it because the pay is there. Yeah. And it's like, you know, you're gonna go through life like feeling not fulfilled. Yeah. You know, like, that's another thing too, where like, I got that same thing. I'm not a fucking rapper, but you know, like, just being a bartender, like at 23, like going back home and like, you know, you seeing people at parties or whatnot, or people's parents, and like, how you doing? Good. What are you doing for work nowadays? And I was always like, not embarrassed at all, but I'm like, well, I'm still 23. Like, there was almost like
it's
a stigma.
Weird conversation, like, dude.
You know, even people being like, well, like, you know, like, yeah, I mean, it's not really a career, but you know,
you can make some money doing that, though.
You can make some money doing that, sure. Yeah, no, do what you enjoy. It's like, yeah, I do. It's crazy. I do enjoy it. I went back to bartending because I chased the 9 to 5 cookie cutter life with Sherwin-Williams. Yeah, and I was making less than I would have. You know, I was working more and making less than I was at the bar. So it's like, okay, yeah, you know what? There's no health benefits and, you know, insurance provided by bartending, but I can make a really good living doing what I like to do. Yeah. You know, while I figure out what I want to be passionate about in the rest of my life. But it's like you said, it's funny. There's always that backhanded compliment, because when you're not doing what someone sees as how you should pursue life and how you should go through life, they're like, oh.
They also think it's
Travis doesn't have a 401k at 23.
Dude, like, fuck your 401k, and also and fuck your $50,000 to $80,000 job. Like, people also are delusional with how much money you make as an entrepreneur if you can do it right. Like,
someone told me the other day, it's funny because you actually work there, but because this job was so similar to Sherwin-Williams, someone told me, they were like, oh, like, you're not working right now? It's like, well, no, I'm not working because my restaurant's still not open. Mm-hmm. COVID-19, shout out. And it's a tough time, you know. And it's also tough too, because it's like, I talked to my parents about this, and I'm like, I kind of feel like a bum not working right now, but I'm fortunate enough where when I was bartending, I was making enough money to save up, so I'm providing for myself right now with, you know, what I saved. Yeah. And I talk with my parents and I'm like, I feel like almost like a bum, or I feel like I don't have a work ethic because I'm not very motivated to go find something else right now. And my dad's like you don't have to. Like, don't. It's nice that they understand, because it's like, what, now because bartending or my restaurant that I was working at is closed, and bartending is kind of weird because of all the COVID rules and whatnot. Places in Mass don't even have seating at the bar, so you're just making drinks for the rest of the restaurant.
Yeah.
Anyway, my point being is, like, why should I have to go find something that, like, I don't like to do just to, like, get that job? So someone told me, oh, go work for Enterprise. You start out at 50K. It's
really?
Like, yeah, I started out at 50K at fucking Sherwin too, but I have you, Dino, Alex, and everyone else in my ear telling me, like, exactly, like, what I'm saying is, like, people don't understand, like, well, I got that job that pays me 50 starting. It's like, well, it's not all as cracked up as it can be. Like, that 50 sounds good, but when you're working 60 hours a week making a fucking stagnant ass pay, you're working literally your balls off in the freezing cold in a parking garage in the middle of Boston.
Yep.
And then every 2 weeks you're making fucking $1,400. What'd you take home? $1,300 when you started?
Oh God, less, dude. I fucking made $1,200 bi-weekly when I started.
$1,200 bi-weekly, man. That is ass cheeks,
dude. And like,
ass cheeks.
And
so it just baffles me, man. It baffles me, like, man, like, get that 9 to 5.
I think the most secure thing you can do for yourself is create a brand, and I've said it before, long lasting, because that is the most secure thing I ever had, right? When I lost corporate America, thank God I had this, because imagine if I never ever started the music, I never ever did like and now that I'm doing the growth guide thing right now, and I'm building that every single day, I'm still continuously running ads for that every single day. Like, a year from now, it's like, it's just stupid. Like, okay, you may come out of college and get a job paying $50,000 a year, and then you're gonna take home $1,200.
Nice when you're living at home, but you realize how much money it ain't when you move out.
Yeah, that's not a lot of money. And then, like, you get $1,200 bi-weekly, and then let's say you end up quitting that job because you're like, well, I don't like it after a year. Let's say you pocketed like $4,000 to $5,000 if you're living out, which is like realistically, and then you start from zero again. Versus if you build a brand for yourself and a business for yourself, a year from now, you're just going to be even bigger. Like, a year, like Matt Corman, MIH, a year from now is going to be 10 times bigger with 10 times more fucking money.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's security, and no one can fire me.
Yeah. But it's also the problem, like you say, the most, like, way you can secure yourself or whatever, like, that's awesome if your brand takes off. So the thing about a 9 to 5 that pays you that 50K is, like, as long as you do well at your job, that 50K, that $1,400, that $1,200 a week is, or $1,200 bi-weekly is gonna fucking be there. So that's not going away. So that's what obviously I think gears more people towards it, is like, this is a safe route.
That's life,
because
man.
I also don't think everyone can go get a 9 to 5. I don't think everyone can start a brand. That's not me being negative. I agree. I'm saying, yes, start that brand and chase that fucking dream.
Yeah.
But to think that, like, there's enough, like, I mean, starting a brand, like, the space is already so diluted that, I'm just saying, like, I don't think everyone could go start a brand.
Sure. And also, like, to each his own. Like, not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Like,
that's
which is fine. We need people.
Exactly. We need people that want to do. Yeah.
People to be at the rental car counter so we can rent the cars.
100%.
We need people to be garbage.
And I'm not rashing on those careers at all, because I did it too. I just personally, like, I wasn't a fan of it. So that's the perspective I'm speaking of. Like, I'm not shitting on anyone that does that, because we also need that. And, there are people that might like that. They might enjoy that fucking career.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. It's like this wild thing about life that, like, it's trial and error, man. And that's what's different too, because I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have like a bunch of bouncing around on my resume. Like, that's kind of how the world is nowadays. Like, people are realizing, like, you don't graduate high school at 18 and get that job at the factory and work there till you're 60 and then retire. You have to try things. Like, I have to have these different jobs that I had, because it's helping me figure out what I like and what I don't like to do.
Also, from a hiring perspective, do you want to work with a guy? All right, let's say, like, I get your resume across my desk and I see you worked at X, Y, and Z, and then you were a bartender for a little bit, and then you can tell me, hey, like, I worked for Sherwin-Williams. I became a manager there, and then I realized I didn't really like it. I went to bartending while I was, waiting to, go be a firefighter or whatever. And then, you can just elaborate that. And then I was trying to build a brand. Like, I'm helping my buddy build a brand, yada, yada, yada. Do I want to hire you? Or do I want to hire the kid that just graduated from college and didn't try anything else and just took the safe route his entire life? But depending on the organization.
But exactly, there's still the stigma, I think, with most people that hire of, like, looking at a lot of bouncing around.
Because they're 55 and dumb, though.
Yeah.
Like, they're
like literally, that was like one of the things, like, we looked at on resumes, like when I went to manager training, like, for Sherwin, was like, looking at like hiring a part-timer or whatever, because obviously like you're hired by corporate as like for a management position and whatnot, but then the managers can hire people to work in their store. And it was like they were going over resumes, and like, one of the points brought up was like, oh yeah, this person bounced around from a lot of jobs. Like,
yeah, sure.
That's like a stigma. Like, I don't know, me quitting 2 jobs doesn't mean I can't hold one. I could have held those jobs if I wanted to. I just didn't fucking like them.
If anything, bro, I think that it makes you smarter than the fucking idiots that stay in the same role forever.
Because now, too, another thing is, like, I had 2 jobs for about a year, and now I feel like I'm well-versed in, like, 2 different areas,
Absolutely. What if I just
I learned a lot more about psychology being a mentor, a ton about psychology. It was really fucking interesting, and it grew my interest. Like, that was my minor in college, and it grew my interest on psychology, and I was like, oh, this is really, really fascinating.
Yeah.
But the pay just like wasn't there.
Yeah.
And a lot of time on the road and whatnot, so there were cons that outweighed the pros. But I learned a lot, and I learned more practices for my own, just things. I learned so many more things about psychology to be blunt. I mean, to be to the point of it. Also, my brain right now. Sorry if I'm not being a good conversation.
Yeah, no, you're
my brain. I'm trying to tough weekend. A little bit of booze in the system and whatnot. Trying to reset. So I'm fasting right now. And
you might hit a 24-hour.
I'm fucking hungry,
man. Yeah, you're actually. Hey, you're doing well, but I mean. Carry on from your point. No, your point.
To carry on from that, I feel as though I'm well versed in not well versed, but versed in like multiple different areas instead of that one person who just like crunched numbers from 22 to 50. So it's like I feel like I'm learning more about myself and learning more about the world.
I stayed selling software for 15 years and then I'm done with that. I could tell you everything about technology, and I could tell you about like what it's like to work in corporate America and how to interact with people. But if I sold software for 3 years and then I learned how to run a rental car company for 2 years and then I learned how to run a gym for a year, I could have 10 times more stories and 10 times more knowledge than somebody else. It's like, for instance, the hometown theory. That's how I look at staying with the same company in the same role forever. Or you can level up through the roles, but the same company. If I stay in the town of Barnstable for my entire fucking life, I will have no idea what Dubai looks like, and I won't be able to tell you what the language and culture is like over there. But if I decide to travel and expand my horizon, I'll be able to tell you more.
Yeah.
And I think that life is completely about experiences. I think the point of life is literally just to live it and experience it and learn and
literally
stuff.
Man.
So it's like if you're just confining yourself to this one role, like I sell software and I'm a SDR and I'm an account executive and that's what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna get 100K. First off, you're fucking delusional if you think 100K is a lot of money anymore. And then second off, you're delusional if you think staying in an account executive role for the rest of your fucking life is gonna bring you happiness.
Because that's a thing. Because like think about. You say
it's
happy.
Like marriage.
You say happy.
It's like marriage.
Literally.
It's like marrying somebody from high school and you never, ever, ever got to see what another partner was like.
I thought you were going to say something a little more vulgar, but yeah. I was like, oh, wow. Here we go.
But you know what I mean? Because why do you think divorces happen? Like, it's like...
Because why
people
get fucking bored,
and people leave jobs. It's like, dude, I've been selling software for 35 years.
Exactly.
It's like, obviously.
That's why I'm getting it out of my system before I get married. Yeah.
Good. Get it out, man. No,
literally.
Yes.
No, exactly. And you bring up happiness, and it's like... there's no one, there's no rule book on like the way you're supposed to live life,
Sure.
There's that cookie cutter mentality where people are like, oh, yeah, this is how you're supposed to do it. But it's like, says who? Says right. Who? Is like working that 9 to 5 and literally sitting in traffic 2 hours a day, driving in the office, and you got the weekends off. You got Friday night, and then a full day Saturday, and then Sunday you got the Sunday scaries because you're going back to work. You're like, oh, work's tomorrow. You basically get a day and a half of a weekend.
Living for the weekends.
Oh, what do you got? 2 weeks. You go up to New Hampshire, the mountains with the wife and kids for vacation, or you take a cruise or something. You get that once in a while vacation to look for, or are you more like kind of freelancing? Like, do you like you say like take that time to travel and put emphasis on travel, learn more about the world, do things that you enjoy, like the Rosa, like taking time off work to go surf down in Hawaii, like that's fucking crazy. Yeah. That's sick, where opposed to someone that might have never done that, and it's like you get to that last day, or say your conscience is still with you, you're laying in that coffin and you're like, damn, glad I was boring my whole fucking life.
Glad I didn't do anything but the safe
and
thing.
I'm not saying people that that work these 9 to 5s are boring. I'm just saying, like, make sure you fucking enjoy the little things, man.
Yeah,
like,
or make sure you enjoy
what you do.
Like for instance, I could say this, like, and this is also biased, right? Because I'm speaking, but this is our fucking podcast, so fuck them, it is biased. But like a firefighter, for instance, like I say that's like a role where it's like you could be passionate about it and do it forever because you are like saving lives. There's so much more value behind it.
Yeah.
Versus then like I just say software because it's the industry that I was in.
Yeah.
But like, if you have a role, like engineering, for instance, I got a buddy that fucking loves engineering, but it makes sense. Like, it's something to be passionate about. You fucking, you do the math, you make a structure, and you look up at the city of Boston, you're like, wow, I built that, and that's gonna be there for hundreds of years. Great, let's move on to the next thing. But me closing fucking deals at a restaurant and trying to hit my quota so somebody else makes money and I can make a little bit of commission.
Sitting on the phone and getting told by people, yeah, so and so isn't here, and making 75 calls a day.
I'd rather mow lawns.
And or get.
I'd probably
literally.
I'd
Well, it's like, dude,
I
told you I wanted to get into it when I got to Sherwin. I wanted to like learn, the business world and whatnot, and I did. There was a lot of things about running a store and your bottom line and profit margins and all this stuff, right? And successfully running a store, like I learned so much about that. Where if I go to the next, like they did, like I say, they were a great place to work.
Yeah.
It just wasn't for me. Like I just didn't love it. I wasn't excited. It was a struggle to get out of bed, to get there, get my coffee at Dunkin', and open up the store and be in a good mood and cheery. Like it just wasn't me. Like
plus paint, 20 hours a day.
No pun intended. Like watching paint dry wasn't fucking fun. But then I meet people. The manager that trained me. Like he was about it. He liked learning about paint and how to give people the best paint for the job, and he was into it, and he fucking liked it, and it's like, that's great, man, because that's what you enjoy doing, and that's what I think is, I'm not saying there's anything wrong to 9 to 5, but don't do it just because it's the thing to do. If you genuinely, this sounds so cliche, everyone says it, everyone that has a platform says it, but literally I can't put enough emphasis on like chase the things you want to do. Like not leaving Sherwin but not knowing what the next step was, and going back to bartending because I knew that was a job I was good at and a job that I liked. Those 3 months that I was working at before COVID hit, after Sherwin and before COVID, I was, you can attest, you live with me, I was the happiest I was.
Lights out. Different person.
I got back.
We used to say
you
needed 15 when you got home from Sherwin. Remember?
I used to say I needed 15.
Oh, you need 15.
Yeah.
Well, like that's an awful way to live. Like
exactly.
My entire life, I need 15 minutes when I get home.
Alex too.
Yeah,
you would say the same thing to Alex, and he was coming from a very similar job. I was selling cars. He's selling cars. I was selling paint.
Yeah,
it's very similar jobs, and we would both come home and like. You literally look at me from a day of sitting on the computer working on what you're passionate about. You'd be like, "What's up, Trav? How are you?" And I'm like, I'd sit on the couch, put on the fucking Bruins, and you'd be like, all right, you need 15. And like, you legitimately wouldn't talk to me for 15 until I decompress. That's not how I want to live life. So I'm saying, like, there's nothing wrong about these standard ass cookie cutter jobs.
Yeah.
If you are genuinely happy with your life.
Sure. And we also
or there's
need,
those that do it because they need
it.
to do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, if like, you listen to this and you're like, wow, like I hate waking up at 5 a.m. to go do what I do. Like, I really wish I was doing something else. Don't be afraid to take that leap because of the uncertainty of the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
If there's nothing else you see out there for yourself, if you're not like, wow, I really want to go do this instead of what I'm doing, then maybe not make that leap, because like maybe figure out what you want to do. Because if you just quit the job you're working at because you're unhappy and then you got nothing, granted, you might be happy and find something to do, but always make sure you're secure. And I think that's a lot of the reason why people do work jobs they don't like, because of security and whatnot. But
absolutely.
It's just like, if you have the opportunity to pursue, like, it might be a tough path, like it might be a hike over a mountain instead of walking down like a nice paved path,
for sure.
But like, if you have in your mind like, wow, I really wish I could pursue this, like, just do it, know? Because I just think, like, there's literally, life is so short and there's no meaning. There's no one way to do life.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you get to be 75 and you're like, glad I sat in an office for 45 years. And then, like, you look back and you're like, fuck, I wish, like, that's what I'm scared of. I'm scared of literally being on death's door and being like, I wish I did X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Obviously I'm going to have like regrets. I'm going to be like, wow, wish I was an NHL hockey player. Like, obviously people are going to wish those things, but like, I wasn't given enough talent to fucking, or maybe I didn't work hard enough as a kid. Maybe that'll be a regret. Obviously you'll probably have some regrets in life, but like, try and limit them is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. I got to jot that part down.
Jotting that down? Wow.
Yeah, I got to start jotting. I used to jot things down so it'd make it easier when I'm editing this for the intro.
Oh, nice.
Just to get like good points or whatever, or just like clips for YouTube.
He's jotting it down. I'm coming up. I'm progressing.
Up. Speaking of which, if you're listening on audio, tune over on YouTube. I'm now, and you can see our shining faces. Every single episode's going up there. But hey, so I completely agree. Yeah,
you would completely agree.
Yeah, I fucking preach for that shit.
Also, some more positive news.
Yeah.
Not to get off the topic, but 2 more compliments this weekend about me.
Wow.
Yeah, so fucking keep me around, buddy.
No, that's fucking great.
Yeah, someone told me I should start my own. Actually, second person to tell me to start my own.
Start your own.
So start treating me better. I might be.
Where do you think
your talent might be taking off. I'll tell you that much.
Here we go.
No, we're excited for the future though of this podcast. Some exciting news. We're hopefully going to be getting a new setup.
Yeah,
it's going to be a different look.
Yeah, I'm ordering.
We're ordering.
I'm throwing down. We're ordering. We're investing.
We're investing in ourselves.
Shit.
So keep listening.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a new, just pretty much a new visual setup, guys. Like it's gonna, like if you're watching on YouTube now, it's like, we're gonna figure it out. It's gonna be like a table, like a V shape, kind of like I think I'm mimicking the Impulsive set, just not $30,000 worth of equipment. And we went to Guitar Center yesterday to get some new mics.
Just as good looking kids, though,
and yeah, that's facts. And get some new mics and stuff. But Guitar Center was closed, so I need to order everything online. So it's gonna be a little
crazy. They weren't closed. They were just out of a lot of stock.
They weren't closed. Yeah, there was literally nothing there.
Actually, maybe because of the pandemic and whatnot, that they're on a lot of stock because people are probably doing more things like podcasting and or like. You know, oh wow, work's closed. Like, let me go get the guitar and learn how to play. But then just like supply and demand though. So, exactly,
right?
Yeah.
Like,
why?
Well, that makes sense. Demand's high.
He's like, oh, we have 600 of these mics coming in on August 21st. It's like, why didn't you see? Well, we go back to Sherwin. Like, if you see you're running out of stock and you know people are gonna buy them. But I mean, some places don't want to sit on inventory because it costs them interest and it costs them money to sit on inventory. But it's like, you know, if there's a high demand for stuff right now, keep the shelves stocked. Keep a couple on the shelves. You know,
on the shelves.
I'm not saying you got to keep 20 extra in the store, but like, you know, you got one on display. Keep one out.
Yeah, there's so many on display, and I'm trying to get a new mic for my music. Right now, I use a blue mic, but Russ has been talking about this gray mic that he uses, and it's a blue one. Blue is the company, it's not the color of it, but And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go buy it. And so I saw it online, and I was like, I'm just going to grab it. Because I've been looking to upgrade my shit.
Those mics that are really cool with a stand that could just like hang in front of our faces.
That's what I'm going to get. We're going to get,
sick,
so
though.
if you guys are watching, we're going to get I'm going to get the Shure SMB 7.8, which is like the podcast mic. And the quality, the audio is going to sound a lot better as well because these things, a little nerdy stuff, but this sits a lot in the high ends. That's why this podcast kind of sounds like a little high, like snaps. But like low ends on podcasts, so you hear like a is like that's where the Shure really picks it up a lot better, and it's just a better podcast.
Yeah, we're investing in it. We're starting to get a lot more feedback on the podcast, and I think we're gonna dive into it a lot harder than we have been.
Yeah, it's so fun, dude.
It is really fun. It's fun to sit here and talk, and it's honestly. Like getting compliments, not to be like narcissistic or say like that's why I do it, but getting compliments on people like enjoying what you say or what you discuss when we just come on here and kind of shoot from the hip on episodes is like it's really fucking cool.
It's the same thing.
It's really cool. It's a dopamine hit.
What we said earlier, when you support your friend's business who's starting it, when you're getting compliments on something that you are doing, it's the same fucking feeling.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? It's like, a little dopamine hit. It's like someone likes your product.
Yeah, you want to do better.
Like this is a product of us, and like you know, a shirt is a product of a company. Like when someone likes that or buys it, like buys into it, like you really, it's really fucking cool. Yeah. And I love it. I'm just excited because hopefully the new setup, it'll allow for us to bring guests on where it'll be me and Matt and a guest. Yeah. And you know, we can interview them at the same time and whatnot, and kind of bring the little 1-2 punch into having a guest on.
Yeah, we're gonna get a couple.
Hopefully headphones too, so we can be aware of any audio mess ups. You know, sometimes. Like I think you said last episode, there was a couple spikes or whatever.
Yeah, I just deleted like a part of.
We only hear ourselves right now. We're not hearing the feedback. So hopefully we're gonna spend.
Nice job, feedback.
Yeah, there you go. You know, no problem. Yeah. We're gonna spend a little money and make this a higher quality podcast for you guys. So I hope you guys that have been listening since the beginning are excited with how it's been improving and where it's gonna be in the next couple months.
Yeah, and on other news, I was just hearing today that so it's August right now, right? And it's August right now, and people are going.
This fucking summer flew by, dude.
Summer flew by, absolutely. I know. It's gonna start getting cold out here again, so you know, I might have to make a quick trip out to California. You know what I'm saying, for like a month or two. Hope you don't mind. Anyways, but no, I'm just kidding. Actually, I'm not really kidding. I have been thinking like maybe I should go do like a little bit of time out there. He's like, oh, I can't wait to shovel the snow. I'm fucking with you, but I mean, it's kind of a thought. Like,
I'm fucking with you, but not really fucking with you. That's like Matt's way of saying things. So like, break the ice about it and be like, dude, I'm kidding. And then 3 days later, you wake up and he'll be like, oh, yo, sorry, you were sleeping, forgot to say goodbye, but I'm in California for 2 months.
Yeah, man.
Me and Sin made the trip out here.
We'll see what the hell happens. But what I want to talk about.
So we're not gonna be improving the podcast because we're gone for fucking 2 months.
No, we are improving the podcast. I'm just kidding. It was just an idea. Who knows? Maybe you should come too. You never know. But anyways, I want to talk about something important though, which me and you are experts at. Like I'd say that we're pretty much fucking professionals at this thing, and it is August, going into September, and what happens during that time is kids go back to school. And me and you are experts at going back to school because we did that.
Yeah, we are.
We had a good time in college, and I think that it was it's a fucking excellent time. But there's times are changing now, and people are. I was just listening to the Scam. It's a news podcast I listen to. Shout out to them. But they're really good, just covering the news out of like this very middle ground way. Like they don't string too far to the left or too far to the right.
Love that.
And they're just like, they just give you both facts and everything. But to talk about going back to school and how some schools have transitioned to completely online, and some other schools are like,
Snoo's not gonna have a fall semester. Well, they are, but it's gonna be strictly online.
Oh, it's strictly online.
Yeah.
So here's my thing, man. Thank God we graduated in 2017. Could you fucking
18,
imagine us
18.
going into our senior year?
18.
Oh yeah, you're an 18 guy. Yeah, young. Going into our senior year, and they're just like, hey guys, all set.
I lose my fucking.
And then you have
mind.
to do online classes back in your parents' basement.
And it's not like because you got one year
back on
left.
the Cape.
You got 1 year left of college. Like it's not like you're gonna like transfer out somewhere.
How about
like for your
the
senior year.
sophomore, like people that got a taste of college as freshmen, and then they don't even get to go see college after that. They have no idea, dude. They have no idea. No club hockey, no programs to be a part of, no teams. That's how you build friendships.
No Friday and Saturday night with the bice.
Listen, no tearing it up.
No fucking crawling across Larkin at fucking 2 a.m. Larkin Field, I should say.
No, good times. That's what I'm saying. Like, dude,
playing drunk ultimate frisbee.
That was
on
a
the
good
soccer
stuff.
field. It's just like making memories that I will literally never forget.
Also,
and instead you got to be like, I'm sorry.
It's like high school, bro. And like, also, you're still like, we live together, right? We're friends.
Yeah.
DeRosa, where do you know him from? Fucking college.
Yep.
Where we became. I knew him in high school, but we became friends in college, right? Yeah. Everyone we surround ourselves with from college. What are these kids gonna do that don't make friends in college? They're not gonna have any roommates. They're not gonna be able to afford their rent moving to the cities. They're not gonna have.
They're gonna be
friends.
the kids. They're gonna be the kids that still use Facebook at 25.
They're gonna be still ripping Facebook.
They don't leave the hometown. But
yeah, man.
No, that fucking stinks because it was like there was a certain beauty too. Like, I mean, going to class, like, it was just so much easier when it was on campus because it's like you'd wake up and you get the socialization. So you go see your couple friends that are in that class. You'd walk across campus, get a little fucking FaceTime, fucking, you know, all right, it's a nice day out walking across campus, you know, like, I mean, sometimes in winters, you know, you wouldn't want to wake up. You say, fucking, I want to walk to class.
It's funny, you're talking about going to class, but like, you never went.
Buddy, I went to fucking class. Don't even start that. Don't even start. Just because you fucking were a teacher's pet doesn't
I wasn't
mean
a teacher's pet.
Yes, you were. You're like, dude, perfect attendance. They give you like more points on the test.
I did go to.
You're like, it weighs your score at the end if you have perfect attendance. That's part of the grade. Look at the syllabus.
Yeah. I don't know. Looking back, I don't.
There were just some days in the winter. I had late hockey practices.
Some days, buddy, you didn't go.
Some days in the winter that it would be very cold out. I'd wake up and I'd be like, that looks like a treacherous walk to class. Mm-hmm. I'm going to save myself from the hypothermia.
Yep.
And I'm going to go back to Snuggletown.
I mean, like, fair, though.
You know?
Snuggletown.
Buddy, listen, I went to class. Graduated with a 3.1, all right?
Were you 3.1?
Yeah.
You know I beat you, did you?
Yeah, because you were legit. We're going to office hours bringing an apple for the teacher. Hey, just polish his Granny Smith for you.
Here we got cloud up, man.
Nah, you did very well. You also like weren't scared of like presentations and stuff.
Yeah, that's the thing too. I mean, that's like 90% of college. I feel like is presenting.
Look at me now, scared of talking in fucking class, and now I'm on a podcast.
I was just gonna say too, like also has it? I don't know
if
your
fears.
Do you think that this is like you haven't had to like talk in front of a group in a very long time, but do you think this is helpful?
I'm definitely less scared of it now. Yeah. I mean, I kind of graduated college and it was like, all right, well, you know, with a mentoring job, you know, we'd meet for a team every fucking week or two.
Yeah.
At least once every 2 weeks. And like, you know, the whole team would be there, you know, 40, 50 people.
How many people? Well, that's a lot to speak in front of.
You know, and you're sharing about your cases and, you know, you're going around and they're asking you questions or you're doing icebreakers. And it's like, all right, well, like if I don't do that, like this is my job. There's no like, oh, you got a bad grade on this because, you know, you avoided it. Like I couldn't avoid it. I had to. It was my fucking job. Yeah. And I also had to go into people's homes and like discuss with their parents like what we're working on with the kids that I'm mentoring and why we're doing this and why it's going to help. You know, basically giving a mini presentation about what you're doing, you know, like what skills you're working on for socializing and behavior and whatnot, and like telling the parents like X, Y, and Z. Like you can't be scared to talk in public or in front of people when you're doing that, you know.
Powerful tool, man. If you can
learn how to speak in public, or it's just like get over it. Obviously it's going to cause you nerves, but just get over that. Like, you know, there was no reason to like fear it.
Dude,
you know,
I even still like, I get the argument. It's like, oh, you can perform in front of thousands of people, but you can't. Like I'm pretty good at public speaking, but like there is like a little bit of like nerve sometimes when I'm in a big group of people and it's like right before I speak, I'm like, I mean, not really. I'm kind of blessed with that. Like I don't really as much, but like I've gotten it for sure.
What's cool about you is like once you get to the sides, like if you get to big venues, like you did the House of Blues, but you were opening for someone there, so like that to me would be nerve wracking because that's in front of 2,500, 3,000 people. And which was fucking sick. It was cool to see you up on stage and people were vibing with your music. But what's crazy about that is that was for fucking Sammy Adams, right? Uh-huh. And so 25, I'd say 97% of the people there were there for Sammy Adams. It was cool because you went right before Sammy, so the place was fucking juice. So that was a lot more ears on yours, but that would drive me crazy because you're opening for someone so that, you know, the crowd is probably there for Sammy, not for you. Yeah. So you could go on and be a complete fucking flop.
You're also one of 5 people that went before, so they are waiting for Sammy.
Yeah.
Like, there's a bunch of openers before. They're like, all right, when's he coming out? And then, like, you got to come out. And then it's like,
that's what I'm saying.
You got to win
so
him.
It's crazy. It's like, that's how, I'm sure your mind works like that too, but you're better at, like, shutting it off. But, like, that's how my mind works. Is like, instead of being like, all right, I'm about to go vibe in front of 2,500 people. Like, let's fucking crush this. I'm like, well, what if they don't like me? You know?
Yeah.
I think that's how my presentation, like, that's how, like, my brain would work to, like, make me scared of presentations. Is, like, kind of thinking about the negatives. But now getting over public speaking is, like, you just got to do it, man.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
some people aren't going to fuck with what you say, and they're going to fuck with what you say. So it's like, but what I think is crazy is the fucking comics, man, who get up there. Because it's like,
that's just crazy.
You know,
man.
you went, you know, okay, if you go to a bigger venue where 10,000 people are coming to see Matt Corman, they're buying tickets for a Matt Corman concert. They're there because they listen to your music and they know what they're going to get.
Yeah,
you know, you might sound like shit live compared to Spotify, you know, but like they're there for you because they like you and they know what they're getting. You go see a comic, do you imagine being Joe Rogan going out in front of 10,000 people and they have no idea what your set's going to be?
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, you tell your first 2 jokes and like the crowd's not really giggling.
Not
Do you imagine that fucking feeling?
I'm gonna try, dude. I can't imagine feeling. I want to give it a rap.
You said you wanted to go do like an open mic, which the beauty of an open mic is.
I want to get my feet wet. Yeah. The first time performing.
But you said you want to do stand up. That's telling knock jokes that you found off Google isn't necessarily stand up.
I need to get my feet wet. It's like starting anything. You know, you don't go perform in front of the House of Blues. You got to go to the Middle East.
But like the beauty of stand up is like it's original content.
I'll write some original content.
You can't be taking knock jokes off. I mean, I don't know the rules to stand up, but I'm assuming that telling knock jokes people have already heard probably won't get the most chuckles out of it.
What did the astronaut say to his wife when he was looking for a divorce? He just needed a little space.
Oh wow, that was good. That was good, buddy.
Pretty good.
Yeah. What did the doctor say to the guy that walked into his office wrapped in cellophane?
What?
I can clearly see your nuts.
What did he? Did you hear about the fire that happened at the shoe factory?
Oh, they lost a bunch of souls, right?
Lost 10,000 souls.
10,000 souls. That's a fucking... Get over here, knee. I fucking smack the shit out of my knee.
I could go rip an open mic. And
I think after like 4 knock jokes, people are like, this is this guy's act. Come on.
No, but the thing about it's 2 to 3 minute sets. I looked it up. So you're doing in Somerville, 2 to 3 minute sets, open mic. If they open back up, I'm going, and you're going too. And you gotta watch me. You gotta help me.
No, but I think there's a beauty of like writing your own stuff.
For sure. Like if I got on stage and I just rapped a bunch of Drake songs that were Drake songs, everyone would think I'm a fucking clown.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Where's your own shit? Yeah.
So, but I just think there's like that's so fucking crazy. Like when I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast and he has a lot of comics on sometimes, and I think about these guys like doing these sold out shows at stadiums, and
Terrifying.
It's like you got to go up there with something people haven't even heard. Like at least a musician, people are expecting a couple songs.
Yeah,
you know,
and you have the backing track to help you when things get awkward. Like the beat's playing, I can breathe. Stand up, it's like, what do you guys think?
What's up with airplane food? Like you know, you like you literally like
TSA is crazy,
and you can go out there in your first 2 and they could be a flop, and then imagine trying to recover from there. I'm just saying, like the mental stability of like being able to like go out there and be like, okay, this is gonna make these people laugh, and if it doesn't make these people laugh, recover and be on your feet that quick. Yeah, like that's crazy. That's banana land.
I think you'd be able to do it. You'd be really funny because you're funny.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I think I'm gonna definitely try to give it a rip though, and I don't know. I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it. I'm gonna, at least before I die, I'm gonna try a stand-up comedy set.